Right, I'm back again with another video, this time film discussion. I was asked in the comment section of one of my other videos a while back to do a video on my favorite Japanese film directors. So that's what this is. This is a top 10 list of my favorite Japanese directors as of now, basically. So this video will go up in like early October, I think. So yeah, I for a while thought about should I watch more movies before recording this, but I opted not to. I did watch a couple, but then I got kind of annoyed because I felt like I had to watch more Japanese films, even though I would have preferred watching something else. So I just kind of stopped forcing myself to do that and thought that whatever, I'll do the list with my current knowledge. There are many movies that I haven't seen, hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of them that I should see, many directors that are not on the list because I haven't seen enough by them. So the criteria for this list is that if I haven't seen 3 movies or more by a director, he's not eligible for the list. So that eliminates some pretty big names. So for example, not on the list is Ozu. I've only seen Tokyo Story and The Good Son by him. So 2 movies, not enough. Ozu is not on the list. Also, Shinoda, not on the list. I've only seen Pale Flower and what else have I seen by him? I've seen Himiko. I will talk about that movie in one of the upcoming movies I watched recently, because I watched Himiko quite recently. Also not on the list, this one hurts. This would be a top 3 director for me, but I've only seen 2 movies by Kobayashi. So Harakiri and what's the other one? Samurai Rebellion, 2 fantastic samurai films. Harakiri is in my top 10 movies of all time. But 2 movies, not enough. I should watch Kwaidan, but it's so long. And I should watch the Human Condition trilogy, but it's like 10 hours. So I just haven't got around to watching those yet. Also not on the list, a master of horror movies, Shindo. What is his first name? Kaneto Shindo. He did Kuroneko and Onibaba. Great 1960s horror movies, kind of folk horror stuff. Also not on the list, Itami, Jizo Itami, the director of Tampopo and The Funeral. Only seen those 2 by him. And also not on the list, and this one hurts as well, Kon Ichikawa is not on the list. I think I've only seen 2 movies by him. Fires on a Plane, which is just incredible, and the Inugami Family, which is kind of a murder mystery movie from the 70s. So yeah, Kon Ichikawa not on the list. What is, for many of these directors, true, is just that there haven't been enough Blu-ray releases for them in the UK. I never collected DVDs. Many of these directors, like Kon Ichikawa, have had DVD releases across the years, but many of them haven't had their movies just released on Blu-ray or even 4K in the UK. Like Kon Ichikawa, for example, Fires on a Plane. I don't have a physical copy of it. It just doesn't have a UK release. And same goes with Shinoda, for example. Many of the Shinoda movies. Many of the directors who have Criterion on their rights to the movies, they just haven't been released here in the UK. So yeah, some pretty big names that aren't on the list. But what I do have here is a list of 10 of my favorites and also 5 honorable mentions. So I went through my entire collection of Blu-ray and I picked out 15 directors that are my favorite. And 5 of those are honorable mentions. I'll start with Hideo Gosha, 3 Outlaw Samurai, great genre movie director. One of the problems with Gosha is that I haven't seen many of his most beloved movies. So, for example, Onimasa, haven't seen that one. He would probably be in consideration for the top 10 in the future, just if I see more of his movies. Another director that I've seen just a couple of movies by, 4, I think. Oh yeah, by Gosha. Other movies that I like by him are, let's say, Violent Streets. It's a pretty fun Yakuza movie. And then the Samurai Wolf, the kind of spaghetti western samurai movies are really fun as well. So yeah, has done some good work. Just not enough for the top 10. And then second honorable mention, I have here Shinji Somai. I've seen 4 movies by him. I have 2 here in physical form, Typhoon Club and Love Hotel. Mostly known as a director of youth movies, like Typhoon Club. Love Hotel is not a youth movie, really. Well, I guess the main woman is like college student age, so maybe she could be considered not really a teenager anymore, but not really a full-on adult either. But yeah, just great drama films. Lots of interesting ideas in his movies. Very, very good director. I've also seen, what else have I seen? I've seen Moving, which is a movie about this young elementary school-aged girl and her attempts of living in a not always nice situation. And yeah, what else have I seen by Somai? Oh yeah, he directed this piece of shit. Where is it? I hate this movie so much. I don't like this movie at all. Yeah, he directed Sailor Suit and Machine Gun. Wow, I've never liked that movie at all. I think it's just incredibly cheesy and tacky. Right, third honorable mention. This would probably make the top 10 for many people, but I guess one thing that, well, for the next 3 honorable mentions, what connects them is that they've all released some really fantastic movies, but also some really horrifyingly bad movies. So Kiyoshi Kurosawa is my third honorable mention. Tokyo Sonata and Cure are fantastic, some of the best movies of the 90s for Cure and early 2000s for Tokyo Sonata. Just great stuff. But then he also directed, like, I've never understood what people see in Pulse or Cairo, the ghost movie. Never been a huge fan of that. Before We Vanish, kind of bad. I haven't watched Journey to the Shore myself, but everyone I know who has seen that movie hates it. So, yeah, Kiyoshi Kurosawa, just out of the top 10, unfortunately. And another director who has done lots of really bad movies, but also some fantastic movies, is Nobuhiko Obayashi. I have here this box set that has, for example, School in the Crosshairs is an awful movie. It's a manga adaptation, or at least it looks like one. And then The Girl Who Leapt Through Time is pretty good. And then his Mother by Her Island is just fantastic. And the third movie I don't rate at all, The Island Closest to Heaven. I think I gave it a low 7 out of 10, but it's just, his movies are very cheesy. Often, like especially these 80s movies, very cheesy. Teenage movies. But then he also directed Hausu, which is an all-time classic masterpiece horror movie. So yeah. He also directed I forgot to say, another criteria, no animation, only live-action movies. So anime directors are not included here, except for one who also did some pretty damn good live-action films. But yeah, Obayashi has directed one of the all-time horrifyingly bad animation movies, which is Kenya Boy. If you haven't seen Kenya Boy, do yourself a favor, seek it out, watch it, and be blown away by how incredibly awful it is. It's one of the funniest movies I've ever seen, but it's really bad. So Kenya Boy, shout out to Kenya Boy, Nobuhiko Obayashi's Kenya Boy. Right, and then lastly, an honorable mention to a director who would have made my top 10 probably. But he also has done some really bad movies. But yeah, the cancelled director Sion Sono, Cold Fish and Love Exposure are probably my favorites by him. Just incredibly violent and gory. Just completely unique movies. Mainly the early 2000s, late 90s movies. There isn't really anything else like this. But yeah, the director was cancelled because he had done some pretty questionable things, harassing actresses and whatnot, like sexual harassment case. It was a massive frontline, front page news headline for a while. Sion Sono, I don't know if he will ever be back in filmmaking. But he was a unique talent. Let's just put it that way. Also did some awful movies like Tag, for example, the teenage schoolgirl massacre movie with awful CG scenes in it. And what else did he do? I mean, he did some pretty good stuff as well. Other movies like Antiporno is pretty good, but yeah, I don't know. Moving on to the actual top 10 list. It's all like Sigurdsson, like, knowing what he did, like sexually harassing actresses and whatever. Did it really come to anyone as a surprise, considering the type of movies that he made? Like his whole filmography is just self-reporting on his perversions, right? Okay, so yeah, let's move on. Moving on to the actual top 10 list. So this is my top 10 Japanese, like my favorite Japanese directors. And number 10, let's start with Seijun Suzuki. So I have here Branded to Kill, fantastic Yakuza movie. Tokyo Drifter, probably my favorite by him. I'll leave one case by all of these directors, like on screen when I'm done with them. And then also a third one, A Tale of Sorrow and Sadness. Now, Seijun Suzuki is an interesting director. He's, like Sion Sono, one of those guys who just did his own thing, basically, throughout his career. I've seen a bunch of his movies that I don't have physically here. Also, I have more of his movies in a collection, but these are just some of the best. What was it? Youth of a Beast, for example. I think that was Suzuki's movie. And some of these older ones. Just a fantastic director. Not really a fantastic director because he's not that great often at maybe directing things, but he had a unique vision, very interesting style. If you like this sort of colorful, in-your-face pop art style that he went for, with just incredible colors, just colors all over the place, like yellows and greens and reds and blues, just an assault on your senses. Like Seijun Suzuki is a great. I love his style. He's also a director that a lot of people don't rate very highly because they maybe think that he is more style than substance often, which may be true, but I love his style. So Seijun Suzuki on the list. Directed some great gangster movies, especially also other types of movies, but yeah. Number 9, I have a director that I only have one physical release from because no one is releasing his movies. God damn it. Hideaki Anno, the anime director who is probably best known as the director of Neon Genesis Evangelion. And he also directed this. I do have a physical copy of this. Wait a second. He also directed this, Nadia, Secret of Blue Water. Great series from the 90s. But yeah, Anno has done some live-action movies. Shin Godzilla is probably the best known one, or the one that won all the prizes in Japan. Also, I think recently had a 4K restoration, and which was shown in theaters, even in the West, which is interesting. But yeah, Shin Godzilla is fantastic. His earlier live-action movies, I haven't seen all of them, but Ritual or Shiki Jitsu, or however it's pronounced, that one's really bizarre and interesting, fun movie. And then he directed Cutie Honey, which is kind of like a love letter to old Japanese TV series and stuff like that. He also did Love and Pop, which I haven't seen. And I guess more recently he did Shin Kamen Rider as well. But yeah, Anno deserves a spot on the list just because I love Evangelion and Shin Godzilla. So there we go. Hideaki Anno on the list. One of the all-time great visionaries of animation, and also managed to translate his ideas to live action, which is not often the case. If you think of someone like Mamoru Oshii, for example, the director of Ghost in a Shell and Pat Labor, like his live-action movies are nowhere near as good as Anno's. Right, at number 8, I have Takeshi Kitano. Now, Kitano is again one of those directors that I haven't seen much by. I've seen these, basically. I think these three. Haven't seen anything else that he has directed. Probably something else that I cannot remember right now. But yeah, this box set by BFI is fantastic. Sonatine is the reason why he's on the list. I love Sonatine. There are also other movies like Hanabi that are very highly rated, which I haven't seen, unfortunately. But yeah, like for someone who loves Yakuza video games, Takeshi Kitano is like, if you play Yakuza and then you watch Takeshi Kitano movies, you see so many different influences that were taken from these movies to the video games. So, for example, Sonatine, I played Yakuza 3 back in the day. Not a huge fan of the game, really. It's one of the weaker ones in the series, in my opinion. But it takes place in Okinawa, and it's about these city gangsters going to this tropical island, just out of their element. And that's basically Sonatine. They even ripped off one of the characters from this movie pretty much directly into Yakuza 3. It's the guy with the Hawaiian shirt. Not the Hawaiian shirt. Yeah, he as well. But the guy who is the gang leader in Okinawa, the old guy with the gray mustache, like he is from Sonatine. He was just ripped from the movie into Yakuza 3, which is interesting. The violent cop as well. Like the Takeshi Kitano has this no nonsense style, just insanely violent action scenes, like really, really impressive action scenes. And then just the other elements in the movies are interesting as well. It's not just about the action scenes and the violence, especially in Sonatine. There is one scene near the start that is very violent, and then some later on. But other than that, it's just these Yakuza guys just lounging around on beaches in Okinawa. It has a very interesting atmosphere and style to it, and that goes for his other movies as well. Right, at number 7, I had to go with a director that I've only seen, unfortunately, 3 movies by, but I had to go with Hiroshi Teshigahara. And now I get to rant about Criterion, because Criterion owns the rights to his movies, I guess, across the globe, at least in the West. And this is the only movie that they've released by him in the UK on Blu-ray. What the hell is going on? Like, this is not the reason why I picked him for the list. I picked him for the list because of Woman in the Dunes, which is one of my all-time favorite Japanese movies. It's about this guy who is in the desert researching insects, and he falls into a sand pit and gets stuck in it. It's kind of like an erotic thriller / kind of not really a horror movie, but has some horror elements in it. And at the bottom of this sand pit, there is this shack and a woman who lives in the shack. And this guy is just stuck there at the bottom of the sand pit with this weird woman. The symbolism is not very subtle here. Like, this guy is stuck in the pit with this woman and trying to get out of the pit, but just cannot get out of it. But yeah, I love the movie. And then another movie that I've seen by this guy is Rikyu, which is a kind of a biopic drama movie about this famous tea ceremony master. It doesn't sound interesting at all, but the movie is very, very compelling and interesting. Dark drama movie. So yeah, why Criterion hasn't released Pitfall or The Face of Another or many of these other great movies by Teshigahara, regarded as some of the greatest of their era, I have no idea. I wish they did, because I want to see them. But yeah, I'm stuck with Antonio Gaudi. Antonio Gaudi is a 70-minute long documentary about architecture. The guy is just filming walls and ceilings. It's pretty good for what it is, but I mean it's just not something that I'm in love with for many reasons. So yeah, Teshigahara at number 7. At number 6, the Japanese director that I have seen the most movies by. I think I've seen like 25 of his movies at this point, which is only a fraction of his output because he directed so many movies and still does direct to this day. And that is Takashi Miike. I just recently watched 13 Assassins for the first time. Man, what a masterpiece. Like, by far one of the best movies from the 2000s that I've seen, like from any region in the world. Just an insane samurai film. Ends with a 40-minute action sequence, just hundreds of people dying. It's something to behold. I absolutely love 13 Assassins. He also did one of the 90s greatest horror movies, Audition, all-time classic. He's probably the best known, or was the best known early in his career for his Yakuza movies, so the Dead or Alive series. The first two movies, I really like the second one a lot. I don't see many people talking about Dead or Alive 2 Birds. I thought the movie was incredibly fun. I even prefer it to the first one. It has some of the most off the wall plot. Like, how do you even say that in English? It has some of the weirdest angles that are taken in the plot. Like the motivation for the gangsters to do what they are doing, basically stealing money for a cause. It's just bonkers movies. And the first one is legendary with the opening sequence, 10 minutes of mayhem, and then the ending, which is just it's something like it cannot be spoiled. It has to be seen. And then he also did, for example, the Black Society trilogy movies. So Ley Lines, fantastic movie. Rainy Dog, one of the great Sho Aikawa performances, in my opinion. And then even Shinjuku Triad Society is a pretty interesting Yakuza film or gangster movie. Is it a Yakuza movie? It's a Triad movie, yeah. So yeah, I guess there are Yakuza in it probably as well somewhere, but just gangsters anyway. And then also another, I guess, underrated movie by Mike is his version of Graveyard of Honor, which is a kind of a remake of a Kinji Fukasaku movie. And this movie is insane. So if you haven't seen this one, do yourself a favor and watch it. So many other good ones as well. Ichi the Killer, probably the first I ever saw by him. Close to 15 years ago at this point, has to be. And, or at least 10 years ago. No, it has to be 15. Yeah. It has to be 15 years. I was like 17. It's more than 15 years ago. Oh my God, I'm old. I'm getting old. It's a crisis time. Yeah. Ichi the Killer, what else? He has done some bad ones as well. He has done so many movies that there are some awful ones in there. What would be bad? What would be a bad Takashi Miike movie? I guess the third Dead or Alive is one of the worst ones I've seen by him. I didn't really like Blade of the Immortal, the manga adaptation. And then I haven't seen Terraformers. It's another manga adaptation, but many people hate that movie a lot with a passion. I haven't seen that one, but yeah, he has so many great ones. So many good ones that I haven't even mentioned yet. The Mole Song, an underrated gangster comedy movie from the 2000s, really fun. Happiness of the Katakuris. Oh yeah, I have a physical copy of that as well. Happiness of the Katakuris. Just casually remaking an old Korean movie and making it a horror musical and making it fantastic. That's cool. So yeah, there you go. That's Takashi Miike. And then to segue from this, let's talk about Kinji Fukasaku, who I have at number 5. So he did the original Graveyard of Honor. He also did Street Mobster, fantastic Yakuza movie. Also did Cops vs. Thugs, one of his, in my opinion, one of his all-time great Yakuza movies. Also did Sympathy for the Underdog, just another fantastic Yakuza movie. Also did Hokuriku Proxy War, another fantastic Yakuza movie. So you kind of see the pattern here. He also did other types of movies. I guess my favorite is if I had to pick what is his best movie, I would probably say Hokuriku Proxy War, because it's just an insane gangster movie. I like these hyper-violent, ultra-violent gangster movies that are just balls to the walls. Just just non-stop action and violence from start to beginning, but then also have some thematic enough of a thematic intrigue going on that is interesting and has some characters in it that are worth following. But yeah, my favorite by Fukasaku is by far Battle Royale, which is also the first one I saw. I've seen this movie like 3 or 4 times, and I love everything about the movie. I love everything about the movie. It has the same style that Fukasaku did go for in many of his Yakuza movies. So lots of like hand filmed sequences, lots of camera movement, very energetic. Like that's how I would describe Fukasaku. Many directors started to copy his style also after he finished in the 70s. I haven't even mentioned Battles Without Honor and Humanity. Battles Without Honor and Humanity, the series, like it's one of the most highly regarded like genre film series ever. You see those movies in like respectable like top 10 lists by film critics in Japan. Like how many Yakuza gangster directors are on those lists? Not that many. So yeah, Fukasaku definitely deserves a spot on the list. Also a director that is very famous in the West because people just keep releasing his movies. I guess most of his more important films are available on Blu-ray. So that's great. Right, and then moving on to the top 4. At number 4, I have Shohei Imamura, the controversial director. I have this box set that I haven't seen all of the movies from, but I watched Pigs and Battleships. Great Yakuza movie. Very different from the other Yakuza movies of that time. It's from the 1960s. It's not as violent or all over the place as many of the other ones, and has a very different style. Well, I guess in the 60s, the Yakuza movies weren't really ultra-violent yet to the degree that they would later become in the 70s. But still, Pigs and Battleships, it's more of a mature Yakuza movie. It's not. It doesn't feel like a cheap genre movie. It has a political message that it's going for, and it's very clear, and it's very well executed. And the final sequence with all the pigs, like it's literally Pigs and Battleships. So people, it's. I don't want to spoil anything about it, but there are pigs in the movie, and pigs are released in the streets. And the final sequence when the people are shooting at each other, there's just a bunch of pigs running around in the streets. It's fantastic. And then also Vengeance is Mine, a fantastic serial killer movie. Won a bunch of prizes in the West when it was released. And then Ballad of Narayama. I prefer the original. So it's a remake of the older version of Ballad of Narayama, but this version is fantastic as well. So yeah, Imamura is kind of a controversial director. He did very dark movies, lots of very dark subject matter, lots of incest, lots of murder, lots of sexual violence. But there's also always something deeper in the movies. It's not just like it's like these movies are not exploitation movies by any means. The Ballad of Narayama is so great. It's about this town in the countryside in Japan that when people get old and they don't want to be burden the other villagers, so they are carried by their children to this mountain to just sit there and die. And this is basically the story of this one woman who is being carried to the top of the mountain to die. It's very interesting and dark. Also, I appreciate the Radiance release for The Eel that came out earlier this year. I watched this one a while back, and it is something. It's definitely an Imamura movie. It's a later one. It's from the 90s, I think. Yeah, 97. So he didn't lose his touch. Many directors lose their touch with time. The older they get, the softer they get. Not Imamura. This is some hard-hitting stuff right here, The Eel, about the life of a barber who used to do some heinous stuff in his past. Right. And then we get to the top 3. This should come as no surprise to anyone who knows me. People who know me know already what we're doing here. At number 3, the modern master, Hirokazu Koreda. Probably one of the greatest overall filmographies in the history of modern cinema. Not just in Japan, anywhere. This box set, like if you want to get into Koreda, the movies in this box set are must watches. You have Maboroshi, the first one. It's a great drama film about this woman who loses her husband and remarries and is just sad. Afterlife, about the afterlife. Beautiful movie, my favorite by Koreda. And then you have Nobody Knows. This is usually, like, I've shown this movie to a bunch of people, and this is always the one that they like the best. It's a bit more straightforward, but it's about these little kids whose parents abandoned them, and they are just there living, the 4 kids by themselves for months and months and months, and everything around them deteriorates, literally. It's really sad. And then Still Walking, it's basically a modern version of Ozu's Tokyo Story. These adult children going to the countryside, or this not necessarily countryside, but a small town to meet with their parents, elderly parents, and none of them want to be there. But yeah, Koreda is the master when it comes to family movies. Some of the ones that I don't have here are like Father, Like Son, just a fantastic family movie about these 2 families who adopted children. Two families whose children were mixed up in the hospital, so they got the wrong kid as a baby. And it's found out years later. It's an interesting family drama movie. And then another great family movie is After the Storm. He does a lot of movies about parents and their children, and they are so well written. All of the characters are so interesting and multifaceted. It's great. And he has also done other types of movies like The Third Murder, which is a great kind of a courtroom style of... It deals with a man who maybe murdered someone, and there's a lawyer who's trying to figure out what happened and everything. But it's more about the psychology of the characters than the actual, like, the murder case. It's a very interesting murder movie in the sense that the murder is kind of secondary to the whole thing, the other stuff in it. So yeah, Hirokazu Koreda, one of the all-time greats, deserves a spot on the list at number 3. And then at number 2 and number 1, 2 of the all-time great masters. At number 2, I have Kenji Mizoguchi with Ugetsu, the fantastic ghost movie, and Sancho the Bailiff. Very dark movies, but Mizoguchi is such a master. Like his movies, like they deal with really dark subject matter. Like Sancho the Bailiff, it's about these villagers living under a powerful lord who is kind of oppressing them, and there's slavery, and there's all kinds of dark stuff going on. But he is such a good director. His movies are so interesting, and there is so much depth to them. Some of the all-time great cinematography. Like in these movies, the shots, like on the riverside and everything like that. And when the villagers are working, they have this like furnace where they what do they do? Like they make bricks or whatever, or maybe vases or something in this furnace. Like they look so great. There's this haunting atmosphere to his movies. And so they're so incredibly beautiful. But my favorite, probably by him, this may be a controversial opinion because I'm putting this movie against Ugetsu and Sancho the Bailiff, but The Story of the Last Chrysanthemums, like this movie should be talked about much more than it is. It's from the 1930s. It's about an actor who is failing in life, and his partner, who is just the greatest wife in film history, probably. Like the actors in this movie are some of the greatest I've ever seen in any film. The acting performances are so good, especially the main male lead. So good. Everything about this movie. It's like it. This is a perfect example of what I was talking about before with Mizoguchi, that his movies have this very dark tone to them often, and lots of really bad stuff happening and lots of sadness, but there's also a warmth to them, and the characters are so, you feel so much sympathy for the characters that it's just unbearable at times to watch these movies. And yeah, there aren't enough words to discuss how great some of these movies are. And then at number one, which comes as no surprise to anyone, I have Akira Kurosawa. I've only seen 7 movies by him. I have so many more to watch. I have here a box set. This is the box set of this is a Nordic Blu-ray release, so this has subtitles in Finnish and Swedish and whatever. This is a box set of his black and white samurai movies. I've seen all of these, and then I've seen Ikiru, and Ikiru is my all-time favorite movie, just by far. I don't have a physical copy of it, unfortunately, at the moment, but I should get the BFI Blu-ray for it. But yeah, I can put Akira Kurosawa at number one just by having seen these 6 black and white samurai movies. There isn't really anything better than this. Like Seven Samurai, The Hidden Fortress. I think out of these 6, I would rate them as such. Seven Samurai is the greatest. It is insanely good. Then The Hidden Fortress, kind of a low-key masterpiece, really fun, like comedy drama samurai film about these 2 like morons who are trying to get rich and are just failing at life. And at number 3, I would probably put Yojimbo, which is famous for having inspired many of the westerns later on. And then I would probably at number 4 put Throne of Blood, which is basically a samurai version of Macbeth, the play Macbeth by Shakespeare. And then at number 5, I would put Rashomon, and then at number 6, Sanjura. And I mean, you can't really go wrong with any of these. Like, these are so influential. These are so good. The cinematography, the camera movements, like every scene is perfect in Seven Samurai, Hidden Fortress. Why am I even talking about this anymore? Like, it's obvious how great they are. So yeah, that's my top 10 list. I should watch more Kurosawa movies. I have Stray Dogs, and I should get some of the other ones that have got physical releases, like High and Low, and so on. I do have a copy of Run and Kagemusha. I should watch those as well. Those were some of the movies that I was thinking, should I watch these before making this video? But I just decided that I'll leave them. I'll watch them when I feel like watching them, instead of forcing myself to watch them. Right. So that's my top 10. At number 10, we have Seijun Suzuki. At number 9, we have Hideaki Anno. At number 8, Takeshi Kitano. At number 7, we have Teshigahara. What is his first name? Hiroki Teshigahara? Something like that. At number 6, we have Takashi Miike. At number 5, we have Kenji Fukasaku. Number 4, we have Shohei Imamura. Number 3, Hirokazu Koreda. Number 2, Kenji Mizoguchi. And number 1, Akira Kurosawa. Lots of big names missing, like I discussed early on in the video. So I just haven't seen enough. There are so many directors. I didn't even mention Imai. I really like Imai as well. This guy he did All About Lee Shushu. I really like this guy as well. Shunji Iwai. There's also a director called Imai who is good, but yeah. Anyway, so much stuff. There's impossible amounts of movies to watch, but once I watch more, I'll revisit this video at some point in the future, in a couple of years, and do an updated version of it. But yeah, there you go. That's my top 10. I'll see you again next week for something else. Thanks for listening, and bye.